What's up, y'all? We about to get started. Dr. Short is here. We're going to get started after this Stevie Wonder because I want to make a point off this song by Stevie. Give y'all time to come on in here. And we're going to get started.
We are amazed but not amused by all the things you say that you do. Though much concerned but not involved with decisions that are made by you. But we are sick and tired of hearing your song, telling how you are gonna change right from wrong. 'Cause if you really want to hear our views, you haven't done nothing.
You ain't done nothing, Kamala.
It's not too cool to be ridiculed, but you brought this up on yourself. The world is tired of pacify. We want the truth and nothing else. Yeah. And we are sick and tired of hearing your song, telling how you're gonna change right from wrong. 'Cause if you really want to hear our views, you haven't done nothing. Jackson Five along when we say doodle.
Dr. Short,
Yes, sir.
were you able to hear the song that was being played?
No, sir.
Oh, you couldn't hear it. So I know you know the song very well. It's a song by Stevie Wonder called You Haven't Done Nothing.
Oh, yes.
And I've started that song off for a reason. Because we got somebody running for president right now that's been in power for the last 4 years. She has held more tie-breaking votes than any vice president in United States history. She was actually given an assignment, the border czar, to control the border. She didn't do much with that job. Now she's going around and she's wondering, and these Democrats are wondering why we as black people are not amazed and not amused by all the things that they said that they'll do. They say that like the lyrics go, though much concerned, but not involved with decisions that are made by you, and we are sick and tired of hearing this song. What's the temperament? And we're gonna get off into where you want to go, but this is a question from me. This is my personal question for you. All right. What do you see is the temperament of the people in the shit that this lady is throwing in our face? What do you notice about the mood of the people as you walk around DC and throughout the country?
I'm saying three things. I see resignation, that people don't care one way or the other because they don't like either candidate.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not voting. They don't care for her or Biden, and they don't care for Trump and his mascara wearing vice presidential candidate. Okay, and of course we need to remember that Kamala Harris's guy Tim Walz is under accusation of being a molester of boys when he's assistant football coach. So a lot of people are not moved by this at all. They sort of checked out in the second term of the Obama presidency and remained checked out. That's the resigned people. There's another group that is perhaps the prosperous group. They're optimistic. They have a suicidal, schizophrenic, multiple personality disorder optimism. They can be older voters. They can be people who remember Jim Crow. They've bought into Trump as the Antichrist, and he's Hitler, and he's Mussolini. And, I mean, he's the beast that ate Cleveland. He caused the San Francisco earthquake. And he caused the Chicago Great Fire. You have these people as well. They are Greek. They are Masonic. They are government workers. They are people connected to unions. Their livelihood and social circles are connected to things democratic as much of black people have become an appendage to the Democratic Party increasingly since 1968 with the assassination of Martin Luther King. Black people, or at least a significant number of black people, are on the Democratic Party life support machine or status life support machine, and therefore that's food in their gut, or real or imagined, and therefore they are staunchly for Kamala Harris. She can do no wrong, and of course, everything Donald Trump does is wrong. That's another third. Then there's another third that are saying, they're the fuck it then. They're either for Trump because they think things were better when he was president, or they want to do a Samson and make the fucking ceiling fall in. Because the people that dislike Trump, both Boule, Bushy, sellout, you name it, as well as the white supremacists, the tethers, and the others, and the illegals, hate Trump, then they're siding with at least deport these people. At least we could get SNAP and shit. We could get Section 8 and so forth. There's that. There are a lot of black men who are angry, who hate the castrating, misogynist policies of the Democratic Party, and they hate pork chop feminism, and they despise the imposed homosexualization of the black community, marginalization, and therefore Trump, at least you see what you can get. He's at least a man. He talks about business. He was giving difficulty to people who are now encroaching in our neighborhoods. So Trump seems like a better deal. We know how screwed up Trump can be. We've seen him at what we assume is his worst. They do not know who the hell Kamala Harris is. Those of us who've been to Dunkin' Donuts and had bad service from Hindus who hate black people's guts have reason to be afraid. People that know about the Boule and how they run all the cities and the schools where black kids go to jail and black people being gentrified and thrown into the streets. There's an element that's looking more critically at the black establishment, in particular the Boule sellout trader establishment, as well as the no good nigger preachers, that foul, degenerate Jamal Bryant, T.D. Jakes, all these grifter, liar, no good nigger preachers, worthy of a communist purge. There's a group of black people alienated from the idea that everything is okay.
Yes.
And therefore Trump doesn't scare them. In fact, Trump is like the racist ass boss you had, but they always gave you your Christmas bonus. You got paid, you got your benefits, you didn't hang with them after work, but you got what you needed to do what you were going to do.
Right.
That's how people see Trump. And so that's a third. And I believe that this last group is a threat to white supremacy in a unique way, because that group sometimes overlaps with the first group. That group that's just doesn't give a damn, that's not doing anything, is more like the third group than they are like the middle group that says everything is coming up roses. So there is a growing new black consensus that we need reparations, our motherfucking money. We are recognizing that we're indigenous to this land. We don't want everybody up in here. It's all about something for something. So it's shifting from the feel-good, forced integration, forced busing, whatever you want to call it. There's this new thing of just tangibles. We want our stuff. And by the way, the group that's not willing to come off the couch hasn't been offered anything. The Trump people have not offered anything really this time. And the Democrats have offered abortion, sex changes, illegals, marijuana. I mean, you can grow your own marijuana nowadays. So they need to come up with something new. But baby killing still ends.
I was going to say one thing, Dr. Short, with what you said. I've been observing. I've been watching Trump, and I hear sometimes today Trump is going to be. interview with Joe Rogan today. I don't know if it's coming out today, but that's going to be very interesting to watch. But one thing I've seen from Dr. Short, I'm not from Donald Trump in the last 2 months, I've seen a pivot since Kamala's joined the race from him. And that pivot is, for the first time in my life, watching any president run either party, he's actually been offering things to the everyday American, and it's been a surprise to me, and it's been underreported.
Yes,
Things
sir.
like, and I want to say this little part that I want to get your full opinion, but let me say this, and I want your reaction to this. He's talking about again taking tax off tips. He's talking about no tax on overtime. He said that no tax on overtime. In his interview with Elon Musk, he said something that I thought was groundbreaking that politicians never talk about. He said, well, the reason why Elon Musk said, well, I'm into, green energy and electric energy. And Donald Trump said, you know why I'm not into that? He said, because you still need to use oil. He said, so I'm either drill, baby, drill, or get completely off the oil. He said, maybe there's a way that you guys can make cars solar powered so no one has to use any kind of renewable energy. I've never heard a presidential candidate talk like that. And he also is talking about it was one more point I wanted to make about him, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. And then he's recently, just last week, said that earlier this week, for people who live abroad, that they don't have to pay taxes, federal taxes. And he's talking about paying all this through tariffs. And we know throughout the history of tariffs generally work, especially when you live in a country like the United States of America that consumes a lot of stuff. What do you think about that pivot he's recently made the last 2 or 3 months to actually start offering things?
I think that's great. Look, I'm looking at establishing, possibly, God willing, an address on the African continent just so I can get the hell out of here. And I literally was saying to someone, I want to set up a business, and I have a good idea. In fact, if you know anybody that makes cosmetics, put them in touch with me. But I said, I'll be damned if a country doesn't afford me opportunities. That if I go to another country that doesn't discriminate, I mean, you're going to take my money I earned somewhere else? I mean, that's really slavery. I won't let you have it here, and you better not get it anywhere else.
So Trump's talking about getting rid of that. Yeah.
I like that. Look, I'm voting for Trump. In fact, I'm waiting because I think I should get my Trump wig tonight.
Come on.
So when you see me, I've got my Trump wig, and I'm going to be wearing that shit. I'm going to go to the polls with my Trump wig on. Yes, I am. I mean, I know because the Greeks, the blue lady runs the voting thing. I'm going to have my Trump wig on. Yes, I am. I'm going to take pictures. I'll send it to you. I got my Trump wig. I will have that on. I know it's going to upset my mother. Why does it? Because I'm going to put this shit on. I'm going to wear my Trump wig. It's the same way with people on my street. Now, the people started taking down their rainbow flags when they kept seeing me wear Trump shirts. Now, I mean, there used to be flags everywhere. Now they disappeared. If you guys are tired of all the flags, wear Trump stuff. They'll start taking those things down, get nervous. But anyway, I think it's a great idea. Now, you need to know, and I think I told you, every now and then I talk with the gentlemen that work with Ice Cube and others to make the Platinum Plan.
Yeah.
And we have been discussing what people need to know is that Donald Trump, this is the reason that the Boule and the other black people hate Donald Trump. This is what your audience needs to know. Donald Trump's commitment is to helping working class and poor black Americans, not the top 15% that get 90% of the income and don't share with the rest of us. Trump doesn't have any interest in the top earning black Americans. This is another reason they're fighting him so fiercely. They don't want any of the resources allocated to the bottom 90% of black people.
Wow.
So when I was with them talking about the Platinum Plan, so you're talking right now with someone who's helping to contribute with what we hope, if it gets somewhere, the second renewed, updated Platinum Plan. Like stuff for black veterans. Black veterans are multiple times more likely to be denied benefits than white veterans. There are a range of things that hurt ordinary, average black people that both myself, his name is Jerron Smith, that we want to fix. Some of us, I may not be able to do anything about it, brother, but it hurts when I see black folk homeless. It
Yeah.
hurts when it enrages me. I don't go out much. Because stuff makes me angry, and so I'm a heart person, and it tears me to pieces when I see the McDonald's. I went to McDonald's the other day, and there's not one black person working at McDonald's in a neighborhood that used to be 95% black. Everybody's Latino. I see black folks begging outside, but no one working inside. Right? In what is my neighborhood. Donald Trump does not like that. And I know personally from friends close to Trump's attitude, and Trump said it, and he got attacked by the black elite when he said black jobs.
Yep.
Donald Trump, when he said black jobs, he was not saying that black people were inferior. Donald Trump, being from New York, understood that where blacks could get entree into the economy when they didn't have their own businesses, were in service, municipal, and certain sorts of jobs, blacks could get in.
Right.
And he's for entrepreneurship. People need to remember Donald Trump would make interest-free and often non-repayable loans to black business people when no one else would. And everybody's forgotten this. Donald
Right.
Trump is for entrepreneurship, and Donald Trump feels like everybody should be able to make it. When Donald Trump tripped on the Central Park 5, that was wrong, but let's be honest. Those guys went to the park in the dark of night not to play basketball, football, or soccer. No, they did not beat the crap out of the white woman, but if you and the people in the hood were going up there to do wrong, you were in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong intention and got busted. Everybody knows from the world of crime, you often get arrested for the thing you didn't do. That does not justify the hostile, vicious things said in the papers that falsely assuming those boys were guilty. But let's be real, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. I was brought up, don't be in places where stuff's happening. Those
Right.
guys disobeyed what they knew. The convention, stay away. The park's closed. It was wrong to be there. You went at the time it's closed when it's wrong, when other people are committing crimes. What are people supposed to assume? That you were singing doo-wop? Right? So you went to Wild, and you didn't wild the person that got wilded, but you got blamed for it. You've been compensated many times over what you would have earned ordinarily in life, working, if not dead, out in the streets banging. All this stuff you mad about Trump, who sunk all the money he had in the world into fixing up Manhattan. Who would want to lose all their money because some people don't give a damn? Nobody. How many people is alleged Diddy has harmed or had something to do with them getting hurt because they messed with Diddy's money? Isn't that a big number? Name somebody black that Donald Trump has destroyed. It's not right. And your president, he had the ability to kill a lot of people. We know what Obama did in Libya. We know what Obama let happen in Haiti. We know about all the homeless black folks. In fact, in your city of Los Angeles, as many as 10,000 black people have died as a result of being homeless. And a lot of that comes from Obama not protecting people who had subprime loans and them ending up on the street, many of them elderly black women. I mean,
Yeah.
they're real deaths, real suffering. If we were to look at things and start saying, Trump, yep, he's a clusterfuck of issues. But is he worse than other people? I think he's better for us than Obama. He's definitely better than Biden Harris. Definitely better than Bush before. Could we get better? Hell yeah, but do you really think they're going to let Malcolm X or Nat Turner become president in this country? No. So pragmatically, let's get what we can get. So Trump does have some concern on a particular level for ordinary working people, because if you don't have ordinary working Americans, you don't have a society. I think he gets that as a business person.
Yeah, I think overall, like Trump gets that, like like, look, all politicians are in it for the money. I'm not going to say here say either
Absolutely.
side is pure, but I'll say this about the Republican side now, and it's a shift from the '90s. They understand that, look, you can take, but you can only take so much before it's total anarchy. And the Democrats are so focused on their agenda, they're not they don't understand the whiplash that this whole, okay, a boy is no longer a boy until it's time to criticize black men for not voting for Kamala. Then we're clear on what the sex is. But outside of
Well,
that,
how
we
do they
don't know
know?
what the
How do they
sex
know
is.
that?
And
How
then
do they know that we're
when you
men?
combine that right there with them importing so many people so fast, it's shocking the system. And Trump understands you can't, no matter how greedy you are, you can't shock the system like that.
Yes, sir. Well, brother, you asked a multiplicity of questions. I think I answered two. Do you remember the other ones? Because
Now,
they're very heavy.
you answered everything that I wanted answered.
Okay, okay. I wanted to make
You were
certain I did.
more thorough and detailed than I expect, than I asked, and I thank you for it because yeah,
Okay.
that was
I don't
you
want
more
to
than
be like
answered.
Kamala. I don't want to be like Kamala when you ask. I, this is what bothers me. I've done interviews for years, and I've had hostile where people hated me and they jumped me, and I've been ambushed, and I can't understand why that bitch can't handle a softball interview. Or you can't answer a question. I mean, as a black man, I'm certain you've applied for something and the person just hated you. Didn't you experience that everything you said,
Yep.
everything you did was wrong? You were never going to be right. You're going to get screwed. Even getting the answer right got you in trouble. She clearly, that woman, has only thing she's had to do is drop her lower jaw and spread her legs. That's one thing that she's not diversity, equity, and inclusion is being a whole. And she's got to be the best that there ever was because nobody's gotten as far being a whore as Kamala Harris. I have to give her hats off. Kamala, you're the decathlon of Hold'em. I mean, your award is in the mail.
Do you
Okay,
think
I'm a send it certified.
you think she's further along than Barbara Bush? We've heard. I mean, Nancy Reagan. I'm sorry, Nancy Reagan.
Yes, because Nancy Reagan never got state power. I mean,
Yep.
not
Okay,
just
you win.
hold
You
on.
win.
She had it. She had the ability to influence and through
Yeah.
the behind the throne. But Kamala's literally in a seat of power. I mean, I tell
Yeah.
you, to use. I mean, my thing is how many folks are going to see stripper poles and dominatrix whips and baby oil as precursors to being presidential in this country. This is quite disconcerting to me. Kamala Harris isn't ready for anything. And it's too late for her to have children. And she botched the ones that she was helping. You look at that Harry Potter looking stepdaughter bitch that she's got. I mean, that's just, I mean, God, we can't tell whether she's him or her. She's a disaster. She everything about her is wrong. How are you a prosecutor and you do like 2 cases a year? You're a state's attorney. You do like a case or two a year. I was talking to my mother about it today, explained to her. My mother used to work in the legal counsel office in Howard. When I explained to my mother that Kamala was taking maybe 2 trials a year to court, my mother almost fell out of her chair. Little teeny tiny Howard University with all the sexual harassment and all the people that get fucked up in Howard Hospital. Oh man, I'm telling you, you think Killer King's got something, man? Come up to Howard. I mean, that just make a beeline around there. I mean, let me just say to you, you want a sponge or some forceps so you keep setting off the metal alarms and shit when you travel in the airport? Go to Howard. Let me tell you something. Howard, they have cases all the time, lots of them. How can Howard University, with less than 15,000 students, and maybe about 2,000 to 3,000 staff at that many, have more cases go before the courts than what the Attorney General of the state of California does? Says that that's a lazy bitch. And she was lazy as a prosecutor. She doesn't do her homework unless it's sexual.
And I genuinely believe, and I will keep saying this to anybody that will listen, when Kamala Harris, before she was an AKA, she was a Kappa sweetheart. The Kappa sweethearts had a reputation allegedly for being easy and available to the guys online and those who had made it into the fraternity.
I was talking to
Drugs,
one of my college friends about that yesterday. How down south, because on the West Coast we didn't have too many AKAs, but down south we were talking about our college experiences, and her sorority is the one that is the most notorious for doing what they got to do on their knees. Not just got to do, want to do, having a good time, getting that Nancy Reagan on. So her sorority, for
yeah,
those who don't know, is synonymous with that activity.
her sorority was started by a promiscuous lesbian named Lucy Diggs Slow. And I lived near Lucy Diggs Slow's dormitory. Lucy Diggs Slow was a stud who had a dark skinned woman and a light skinned woman. She had a harem. That's the founder of the AKAs. It is founded by and for lesbians who may have had straight girls join. But just understand something. If I brought you into something, Dewan, and I was a sodomite, I'm a dick licker, and you join, don't you think some of what I'm about will rub off into what you join, even if you're a straight up pussy lover?
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna try to give some of that. I'm sorry. A queen will always try to get other people to be queens because it's lonely being a queen. It's lonely when you're in something that most people aren't into. So therefore, you have to recruit. And so, yes, I said that. Look it up, y'all. Anybody don't believe it started by a stud. And I will just give you a quick story. These things are sealed. The kind of activity of these secret societies, it's atrocious. But let me give you hearsay that the line at Howard University between 2004 and 2006, maybe a little bit before, somewhere in the early 2000s, there was a whole bunch of AKAs, and their last step before they could become AKAs was they had to have omega psi 5 people ejaculate in their faces and sodomize them in the behind. And somebody got AIDS, and the father or mother sued. A couple of people got AIDS. These are the kinds of things that cause a lot of the HBCUs to be bankrupt and have money problems, is that they have to constantly pay out and fight suits because these things happen to their children. Because you have to understand that a university functions as an in parentis locus, Latin for local parents or parents on site. You are liable if you allow people to do stuff to your children. The university recognizes or gives space to a group that hurts people's children. They can be sued. This is why they kick these groups off campus all the time, because they hurt people, they kill people, they get people drunk, folks get alcohol poisoning, people get injuries, ruptured spleens, and so forth. And I would say to you that it's alleged that the AKAs in the between 1984 and 87, when I was at Howard, same time as Kamala Harris, that a lot of the AKAs had such a difficult rush or initiation period that a lot of times to be able to stay awake and do their coursework, a lot of them used cocaine to be able to deal with getting through the rigors of joining the sorority. Yes, cocaine, as well as selling pussy on 14th Street, our prostitutional strip, at least back then, selling pussy to raise money for the sorority. She was there. I really don't believe that you get to opt out when you join these secret groups and say, well, I can't use my pussy for commercial purposes, but I really want to be with. That's not why you join. You join to partake. And so orgies, we had AIDS outbreaks at Howard University in the 80s. Okay, a lot of crazy, freaky stuff. When you think about Kamala Harris not having children, there's a strong probability that Kamala Harris has pelvic inflammatory disease and is sterile. I'll stand on it. I don't care. And got so probably so. If they weren't, then they had so many abortions until her fallopian tubes look like Swiss cheese. I mean, that's what goes with all of this whoring and nasty behavior. Yes, it matters, ladies. I don't buy into this professional woman shit. Part of your legacy as a woman is the children that you leave behind. This idea, I'm going to be a professional and just work. Who's going to remember how many overtime hours you worked if you die sterile with no kids? It's as if you never lived. Part of your legacy, women, is having babies, not killing them. Duh.
Yeah.
And I'm a person with nuts, and I know that. I'm not saying to force someone to have children, but to trivialize motherhood and womanhood to compete. And see, she's not even a real professional woman because she's never had to compete. Everything's been handed. It's interesting. The only time she's used her womanhood is to advance her professional career, not because she's feminine. And, like I said, she looks like a tranny Joe Morton from Scandals with a slightly different nose. She's masculine. She has a flat ass. And she hates black people's guts. Let's move right along. Next question.
That's what I want to go. Thanks for that. Next question. We're not gonna be here all day. I want to ask you, what you see how she's been gaffing and how she can't answer a damn question, and now people are calling it out. What do you think impact these recent round of interviews that she's had? How has that impacted the casual voter?
I think people, look, everybody's been trained. Remember, Obama created something when he passed the Smith-Mundt Act where the American media, it's legal for the American media to lie to propagandize, to manipulate, to bamboozle the American public. So the media has been weaponized against Trump. They know that 99% of the time coverage of Trump is negative no matter what. And it's just the opposite for Kamala. They have sold and sold and sold the soap for Kamala Harris, and yet nobody really knows who she is. She's running for president, and yet I'll give the example. We don't know about her record from California. It hasn't been discussed. They've limited her record for 4 years. So the 16 years in public life, nobody gets to know anything about this. Charade People's story wouldn't be a national story were it not for me pushing Roger Stone to get Gilbert to make that thing that and Stone and getting it in the daily Daily Mail, for us to make that a national story that millions of people have seen. Kamala Harris has not even had to have a record. She's not had to really raise money until she got into the race. She didn't have to get one vote. I mean, we didn't get to know anything about this. That's like you having to literally, she's the equivalent of a what's called a bug party. Do you know what a bug party is? You have them in California. Bug parties when a person wants to get AIDS and they have an orgy and there's someone in the room with AIDS. And if you're lucky, if you're a deviant like, people Kamala Harris likes, you'll get the HIV from someone in the room if you're lucky. This is sort of what we're getting for Kamala Harris. We don't know what the hell we're sleeping with. We have to sort of believe it's going to happen for us if we support her or we vote for her without knowing who. Do you get where I'm coming from? This is ridiculous. We should know everything about this woman, including her genealogy, something you mentioned, Candace Owen thing.
Yes.
And yet we don't get to know. We also didn't get to know about Obama. And this has become, in particular, the Democrats keep putting people up and you don't get to know them. And if you ask, you're a racist or you're a conspiracy theorist. You just take our word for it. And the same way that Obama's books about him, one co-written by a guy alleged to be his lover, Bill Ayers, right? These artificial books about stuff that may or may not have happened. Kamala also has her fake book with fake pictures and artificial things to fool people. In the case of Obama, we've been lied to that his father's from Kenya when he may have been a bisexual pornographer, communist, trade unionist from Chicago. Can't know about that. Can't know about him. He looked just like Obama, partially raised Obama, started taking Obama to
Well,
sex
if
shop.
you look a lot of the news, Candace Owens has been doing a great job. And I'm not a Candace Owens fan, but she's
No,
been coming out
nobody
talking
is.
about a lot. And look, people out there, you ain't got to be somebody's fan. You follow information, not people. And
That's
she's
right.
putting out great information, talking about the suspected possible trans babysitter that he had in Indonesia
Not
when he was out
possible.
there.
No, that's not possible. It's so. I'm friends to the person that she's quoting. Wayne Madsen did this book, and it hasn't gotten a lot of attention. In fact, Wayne Madsen has been careful because he told me that the Obamas wanted him killed. You see, a lot of stuff's going on. As long as Obama and these people in power, people don't get to know anything. It's a fundamental fact that Obama was a drug user and that Obama had a history to the Chicago gay subculture, that Obama's gay. And before Obama could become president, as many as 10 black men were murdered to cover up for Obama's past. We don't talk about it because black folks are so happy that they had that bisexual nigga in the White House. All these dead black men. I thought Black Lives Matter until you get into fake black people and status and bullshit, and we don't care. To show you how evil we are as a collective, I wouldn't want anyone who would let people be murdered for me to. I would just say, look, I suck dick. I want to be your president. That's what Obama should have said. And he could have won off that because people these days, I mean, you could do anything and win. But so, and even his cook, remember? So this is really, really sick what happened. So we don't know who this guy is. But we do know that Obama's mama, his mother used to make semi-soft lesbian porn for Frank Marshall Davis. Now, who do you think got her pregnant? A man that would take naked pictures of a frontal nudity of his mama before she was legal. Do you think that an African with some holy white socks with a thick accent that didn't know deodorant, who do you think hit the skins on Dunham? The guy who she's showing the pussy to before even all the hair's grown in, or some African dude flown in learning Russian? Come on, black people. I mean, and you could go online and see naked pictures of Obama's mother that have been there for years. The pictures are taken by the black dude that looks like Obama. Obama doesn't look anything like that dude with the fucked up hairline from Africa. It doesn't look like him. I mean, they have a different shape, face, and everything. And so Obama is known to be part of the drug culture. Obama did have an affair with the white guy. I used to have his phone number. What's his name? They threw him in jail. In fact, that's how Biden became Obama's vice presidential candidate, in part because Joe Biden Jr. threw Lawrence Sinclair, a.k.a. Larry Sinclair, in jail in July of 2008, right after he told the press club, the national press here in D.C., that he and Obama were lovers. He was put in jail. And that's when Joe Biden Jr., who was the Attorney General of Delaware, violated American law, crossing two state lines to arrest this dude and throw him in jail over a bad check. This is a fact. And Larry Sinclair has a book. It's online. You can get it. I mean, Obama and them tried to prevent the book from coming out, and Larry Sinclair defeated Obama in court, in the federal court right here in D.C., to put out his book about his gay affair with Obama. And he got tens of thousands of dollars. But if you notice, nobody will advertise this book. It doesn't mean it didn't happen.
What is it? Do you know what the book is called?
It's on Amazon. Give me 1 second, I'll get you the name. But I think it's all you got to do. Hold on, let me go
Sissies
to
in
Amazon.
Politics?
No. Let me just go in and put his name, and it'll come right up. Larry Sinclair. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I got it. Larry Sinclair, and I'll just put Obama.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cocaine, Sex, and Lies.
Yes. Barack Obama and Larry Sinclair murder. You want me to text this to you so you can send a picture, or do you have it?
I have it now. I just pulled it up.
Pull it up. Larry Sinclair is a real person, and Larry Sinclair, proof that he knows people, proof that Obama and them know about this guy, is he tried to commit suicide in 2008 or 2009. I think I talked to him first in 2008. When he tried to commit suicide in his house, the Secret Service broke in his house and kept him from killing himself to keep it out of the news. How did they know he was going to kill himself? He couldn't even kill himself to force into the news that he was really Obama's boyfriend. And remember, years ago, Obama got in trouble. Hillary Clinton and them, their Secret Service detail refused to pay the Colombian hoe $800.
Yep,
and
I
hoes
remember that.
need their money. Okay, well, you know how that broke out in the news?
How?
You wonder how it got, because somebody gay in the Secret Service was friends with Larry Sinclair. Larry Sinclair leaked it. That's how it got out. That means there's something to that. Once you start putting the pieces, and so Larry Sinclair got informed he had to move out of the D.C. area down to Florida because you might end up dead. Okay, this D.C. is so nasty. I keep telling you this. People think I'm lying. It's nasty. I don't hang out. I don't want to know anybody. I don't want any friends. You never know who you talk to. You can talk to the president's side piece and get into trouble. Him go back and have some pillow talk. You know, Dewan said this about you on this talk. Who's Dewan? It's that black stuff. Well, they find your ass floating in San Francisco Bay and shit. You know, with concrete shoes on. This is a very wicked place. It's super Masonic. It's full of witchcraft. I'm sorry I was born here. I can't do much about it. I mean, that's what I said. I may have to.
You can feel the witchcraft in D.C.
It's bad, sir.
You can feel that
I'm not
energy,
making
man.
that. So the drag queen is true. The lady boy, who by the way would be with Obama by himself. I will say this to any black man: if you've ever been around Asians or other people, they always, if they can, will try to find out how big your dick is. You know it's true. Now, do you really think that this little Asian gay part-time prostitute could be with a black child and he's responsible for his clique, that man didn't mess around with Obama's wiener? Do you really think a person like that has the wherewithal to not be curious, to not try something? You wonder why Obama has such open and advanced and embracing views around this gay stuff, unless he was brought up with it. That was right in his home. His mother is over in Pakistan sleeping with people as a snitch. It's a CIA family. His father's helping to kill millions of people in the Indonesian Communist Party, the PKK. So you leave this child alone with this man that has sex with men. Don't you think there's a chance he touched that boy? Don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Just sit there. And then you get with this man, you get with Frank Marshall Davis, who's a bisexual person that's into pornography, and he takes you to places. I mean, that's kind of, Obama has a pedophile background of being a victim of pedophilia, potentially. I mean, it's just in your face. I think I've mentioned to you, but please dig it up. When you look at, I told people, it always bothered me. This is a conversation I had with Wayne Madsen, who traveled all over to find out about Obama, and that Obama's grandmother was the bag woman for the CIA and drugs through the Bank of Hawaii. Oh, yes, she was. They're dirty. They are CIA people. The Dunhams are
Interesting.
CIA. Think about it. The elite families were the people in the CIA. The Dunhams are an elite family. Obama's in the CIA family, and everything about Obama is CIA. And black folks think it's black power. If we had fucking power, where's our damn reparations? So get off of it. Now, moving right back, I was going to mention the bathhouse that Obama used to go to, that Rahm Emanuel used to go to. Allegedly, it's alleged that Jesse Jr. may have gone to one of those bathhouses. I'm not saying it's true. That's alleged. So I'm not trying to, just because Jesse, like played with finger paint with Dr. King's blood when he got shot, that doesn't mean something's wrong with Jesse Jr. But that neon sign on Man's Country, you can look it up while we're on the phone, looks just like Obama's election logo. And Obama's election logo was set up by, I think, a company that I strongly believe is a gay company made his logo. Or gay people, gay folks in the they're very connected to the gay community in Chicago. So his election logo looks like a neon sign where men would go to have sex with each other.
Ooh.
I mean, just look up Man's Country, go to images in Google, and you'll see it.
Look up what? What is it? Wait, we look it up?
It's called Man's Country.
Man's Country?
Yes. I mean, just go in and put Man's with apostrophe F and bathhouse neon sign. Let me see if I can find it. I've got an example of what it looks like.
Oh, I see. I'm about to put it up on the screen.
It does look like his logo.
Come splash with us, some shit.
Yeah, but the point is that it's red. It's red and blue, and it's a circle. And from the circle, something goes out. On the Obama election,
I don't have that one. You say red and blue.
Hold on. I'm going to send you the black and white one, but I can tell you what the colors are.
Okay, I have the black and white one.
Hold on. I'm sending you the black and white. Let me get the color one right now for you. Because I don't want you to believe me. I'm really not interested in people believing what I'm saying. Okay, I want people to go. I want people to go and look for themselves and see. Some of us are telling the truth. We've been telling the truth for years. Niggas don't want to listen. Niggas don't pay attention. And niggas need you to be on CNN and on the racist CIA-controlled stations for them to listen, the same ones that say the blacks aren't human and that cops killing us is good.
So right? You saying Obama was part of this organization?
I'm saying he had a membership there, as did Rahm Emanuel. It's in Boys Town.
Shit.
This is a fact. It's not my opinion. Yes, I hate Obama. It's true. But that's not why I'm saying it. I mean, I'm a fair person. If it, like I said, I happen to like Jesse Jr. I don't believe that. Here it is. You'll have to blow it up. I'm going to send you the picture now. They knocked this bathhouse down the same month that Obama left the White House in January 2017. Now, the second thing I just sent you, you'll have to zoom up. But it's red at the top, blue at the bottom with an arrow coming from it. It's the same colors as his logo.
All right.
And by the way, right after Obama, they lost the case to keep Larry Sinclair's book from being published. Within weeks, Obama came out and started saying he supported gay marriage. Because so the media, years after this has happened, it still hasn't been reported. Because they need for the public to think of Obama as a heterosexual black man, the same way they want us to think that Kamala Harris is black. They are using black trauma, black suffering, and our moral capital to advance people who hate our guts. and the boule is in on it, and we're too stupid as the people to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get it? Do you see it? It's not my opinion. I had to explain that to Wayne Madsen. He had never
Yeah, I have it
thought
up on the
about it when he was.
screen.
Yeah, it's not my opinion. That used to be there. It's not Randy judging him. I don't care on one level. I care that you had power for 8 years and you didn't do a fucking thing for us with a historic turnout of voters for your sorry ass. That's what makes me angry. I'm angry about black people losing their homes. And I'm angry that we seem to be a masochistic people. We love getting fucked over and hurt. We forget Martin Luther King. We forget Medgar Evers. We forget Cedar Lloyd. Black folk who died for us don't count. Black folks that screw us and betray us and lead us to demographic genocide are heroes.
Right. Like that was I was talking about that earlier on my show when I was talking about how you have these athletes right now. There's a man named Jaylen Brown who was in he should have been he was MVP of the NBA Finals. He he's like one of the best players in the league. He signed. He had the largest contract in NBA history, and he negotiated it himself. The largest contract in NBA history. He was actually doing a lecture at Harvard when it was announced that he was doing his that he got that big deal. He also is somebody who he was doing robotics at Harvard. Also, he's the youngest person to ever be the vice president of the NBA Players Association, and he's one of the top 5 best players in all of basketball. And this is Coon. No, you know Coon Stephen A. Smith and Coon Shannon Sharp basically did a whole show explaining why, because he's so good. That's the reason you should just accept that white folks ain't gonna give you your due because you too good of a nigga. That's basically what they were telling him. And I was just looking at that, showing that, okay, you got this real live black man who's really doing things that if first off, your children, you should be your child's hero, not some fucking athlete. But if you're going to point to one, this is the guy. But they're so focused on LeBron James, somebody who has been their guy, somebody who shouted out Big Meech getting released from prison, Mr. Ain't No Party Like a Diddy Party, follows along everything the mainstream says to do. And we'll look at somebody like that, somebody like that's a Jay-Z, these approved Negroes, but then you'll have the real deal standing right there, and then you'll turn around and bash that person for being real. It's a true sickness that's going on right now, Dr. Short.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you mentioned Candace Owens. Everybody should look at that. It is not the Candace Owens. She is not Harriet Tubman. She's not Ida B. Wells. She's Candace Owens. But she's done a good job at proving that what we've been told about Kamala Harris is a lie. And that Kamala Harris is an Indian who has Jewish and Irish ancestry. Nothing wrong with that. But they are hiding, they are pimping the black identity as Indians do. A lot of Indians get into law school, medical school, call themselves black. I remember there was a guy I went to Harvard with who passed himself off as black to get into Harvard Law School. It's been going on, and that's 30 years ago. What we're owed goes to everybody else. I have a distant cousin named Sylvia Wiltshire, who had a group called the Americans for Affirmative Action, AAA. And she was complaining about this decades ago. Things that were earmarked for black Americans go to others, to Caribbeans, to Africans, to Asians. And it is a way of destroying us as a people.
Mm-hmm.
And Kamala has done nothing but hurt black people. Thousands of black people had to be released from jail in California because she didn't do anything about the crime lab that was no damn good, that was corrupted. I mean, she just had a history. Black men kept in jail to put out the brush fires. I mean, black folks losing their homes. Every which kind of way in which black people could be hurt, for us to get a clear message that she fucking hates us, and we decide to make her the most powerful woman in the world. And I want to say this. A lot of professional black women have shit for brains, and a lot of them can identify with Kamala Harris because they've used pussy, not intelligence, skill, and decency. And by the way, they're not exceptional. There are a lot of black men that are hoes too. What you find in America that I've seen, and this goes across the board, this is how sick-ass white supremacist America works. They don't like anybody with character or integrity or dignity. So if a woman gets advanced, she has to be a hoe and sexually available.
Yes.
And compromised. If a black, it's the same. If they're Latino, they have to hate their non-white origins. If they're Asian, they have to want to get their epicanic folds changed. You can't be who and what you are and grounded, or they don't trust you because they're on stolen land with stolen labor and everything else. And anyone with integrity or dignity might ask a question, may not go along with the bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the women that get advanced, I know some dynamic ass women, man. Those sisters get passed over, but the women that will fuck, they get promoted. The guys who crack their ass and do the homo fast track, they get shit. Smart dude won't do that. You think Tyler Perry go cast him in a movie? You stingy. You think you can keep that strip steak to yourself? He'll show you. You won't even get to be an extra. I'll show you, right? These people need, Oprah the same, need compromised, vile people for the order of the world that they want. Kamala fits the bill. You think Tulsi Gabbard, whether we like her or not, she's too legit. Decent people. There was a white man that ran for president, governor from New Jersey, Ed Bradley, pro basketball player. And he let it be known in the 90s, I'm running for president, and I hate racism. I like black people. And if I run for president, you're going to have to be concerned about how black people are treated. He never took off because he didn't want to hate black people to advance himself. But he let people know, if you want to get to me, I played basketball. I've been around black men. I like them. I don't like the way they're treated. It hurts me. These were good people. I used to know Jack Kemp, vice presidential candidate, who played football. Certain people can, at least on a certain level, be cool with black people. I remember having an argument with Jack Kemp because I wrote an editorial dogging Jesse Jackson and Howard University student paper. Can you imagine arguing with the vice presidential candidate on the phone over Jesse Jackson? I mean, well, I
That's
did,
crazy.
and I beat too.
I want to get it back on track to where we're going. So I want to close it out. So I'm ready to close it out, but I want to get your thoughts further on, like as far as how do you see this thing playing out? Because, like you said, Obama's compromised. We're seeing who he really is. You know, all this stuff is going on. You know, we're seeing what's really going on, and I still have it up on screen. Obama's man country place, and this is is definitely basically a barrel of dicks. So yeah, that was his hangout spot. So you know, you're seeing all this stuff, and you're seeing that Kamala's inability to answer a question, and all this stuff is going on. How is this going to play out, and what do you see happening over the next? We have 2 more weeks, and we definitely going to talk to you again before the election. But
okay, well, I have a special request to make, Dewan.
Go ahead.
Because we always do something funny, and I just want to do something funny, and I promise to talk about where I see it going. Can I be indulged? I always want to do this song, and I thought about it, and I was just saying, there's so much you can do with that silly hoe's name. And it came to me. Remember the show used to come on TV, Sha-Na-Na?
Yeah.
Okay, and Sha-Na-Na, it's based around a song, Guys from Philly, talking about how hard it was for black men to get work. And so most people know the refrain, which is Sha-Na-Na, and the real song is, the real title is Get a Job. Mm-hmm. And just thinking about stuff, I decided your audience going to love this. I decided to come up with a song. I'm not going to do the whole song. I'm just going to do the refrain twice. So it goes like this. Instead of shana na na shana na na, it goes Kamala, Kamala la la, Kamala, Kamala la la, Kamala, Kamala la la, Kamala, Kamala la la, sucks dick 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 umu mu 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 Kamala. And I just want to put that out there. A tramp. Now, I believe that her being a complete fuck up as a candidate, a failure, an experiment in incompetence and lack of democratic transparency, that either they're going to steal this election and we're going to have serious social unrest in this country, or Donald Trump he's going to pull it one of two ways. He's going to pull an incredible electoral college victory, bigger than before, even if he doesn't have as many popular votes, or his ass is going to have a landslide. So there are three options. They steal it for Kamala, and we're going to have serious problems. And I think you heard that Biden and them have now given the United States military the right to kill American citizens. So they've already set it up for that to be done if they can pull it off. Two, you need to look at places, the so-called blue wall states. If you notice early voting across the country, the Republicans are voting early in record numbers in North Carolina and in other places. In fact, in some places, they're outvoting the Democrats. And we know that the Republicans typically turn out heavy on election day. So the fact that you've had record voting in Pennsylvania, in North Carolina and other states says that the Republicans are out early and the numbers are large, and that's not the norm. The Democrats are leading in terms of mail-in, but a lot of that could be fraud. Anyway, that's okay. Keep moving. But there's some issues happening. Like, if you look at the fact that the Israelis are getting their asses kicked in Lebanon, and this genocide that's been going on in Gaza for over a year, your Arabs and Muslims, 1/3 of the Muslims in this country are black. A lot of these people are not going to vote Democratic. The Latino population at this point has shifted to Trump because they've been the victims of this 8 to 20 million people that have come into this country. They're the primary victims of the migrant illegal crime in the country, as well as you heard about the new tuberculosis strain that's down in New Orleans that's contaminating. It could kill a lot of people. So the Latinos have shifted. A lot of the people in the so-called other and Asian population are Islamic. They are looking in places like Michigan to Jill Stein. People seem to not be aware, but there's a huge Islamic population, both in the city of Philadelphia as well as in Western Pennsylvania. Kamala Harris could lose all of the Midwest. There's a chance that she will lose Wisconsin. So I believe that, in fact, if the black discontentment in Illinois turns out for people to vote, Illinois may go Democratic for the first time in years. I mean, Republican. That you might see crazy things happen. And so, and also the black vote in Michigan, they keep sending people up to Michigan because the rumor is that up to half of the blacks are looking at voting for candidates that are not Democratic for the first time in history. So Trump stands poised to win a record number of Latinos, a record number of black votes, and a record number of other types of people voting. I don't know how they're going to continue to lie with their polling and everything else. She's failed as a candidate. Obama has been booed at some of his speaking engagements. Notice how Michelle Obama, who's supposed to be on the road, she hasn't come out because people start talking about, question whether she's a hermaphrodite or not. There's a lot of stuff that could fall apart. So in the next 2 weeks, we'll see. Understand this standoff. If you notice the supposed leaking of American or Israeli plans to attack Iran may have been leaked by the government to prevent a war in the Middle East. They talk about North Korean soldiers, and North Korea has a huge army. If you put some North Koreans with the Russians, they'll overrun Ukraine. The entire foreign policy thing that nobody's discussed this political campaign, with the exception of Trump, could fall apart, would be devastating, because Kamala Harris can't tell you what her weakness is. She probably can't tell you where her G's been so dented. How can she handle the pressures that America will face her first day in office? I believe this is going to weigh on people. People need to understand, even today, there have been bombings all over Israel and others. So we've got a real mess. So I think certain people are beginning to look. I was thinking there's someplace, I forget where it was. I looked, which state? Oh, it's New Hampshire. Donald Trump could win in New Hampshire. This, no matter what you're hearing.
That's interesting.
I mean, he's within the margin of error to beat her ass in New Hampshire. This is crazy. So he's leading in all of the swing states with the exception of Nevada, and he might flip Virginia, New Hampshire, possibly Minnesota. There's some really weird stuff because people are angry. They're there's a lot of anger in the country. White people are angry. When you hear about white people going after FEMA with guns and all the conspiracies that there's lithium all in the southern part of the Appalachian Mountains where they let this flood hit, where it normally hits the lowlands, not in the mountains. And these white folk have been washed out. People are angry. They're voting. And so I don't know if this CIA project to put this doofus bitch in with her Mossad connected husband. He's connected. Yes, he is. The Jews in Hollywood are connected with the people in Israel and the Mossad. They all, and notice how they brought out Beyonce. They brought out everybody but Sammy Davis to tap dance for Kamala Harris. And they're trying, but look, this is the majority. Black people don't respect, they do not respect celebrities like they once did. And I'm going to add one other thing. This Diddy issue, some of these politicians, the allegation that there are pictures with Obama and Justin Bieber, and maybe even Kamala, was friends with Diddy, is on these tapes. We've got a situation that is so crazy that you just might see a surprise, like I said, a landslide for Trump. And even if they try to steal it, like I think it's Arizona where 98,000 people were given ballots before they had proven that they were citizens. I believe that the kind of litigation that they pushed under the rug before, and they lied and said, oh, it's conspiracy and Trump's a sore loser, the American public has grown infinitely since 2020. So I think if they try to steal it, we're going to have real problems. If they steal it, we will have problems. If it's a tweaker, people will be mad, but they'll have to get over it. And if it's a landslide, you're going to see a lot of illegals and other people. When I was in the hospital, Dewan, I kept my TV on Fox News. That's to keep the tethers out of my room. Whenever Trump would come on, you could just see the terror, the trembling of people. That the people who know they're in the country unlawfully, that fuck over, give you a boiling hot enemas and shit. Let's say our life is all right in America. We're going to see people leave this country who don't belong here because they know what's up. And by the way, a whole lot of black men are going to get jobs kicking tethers and illegals out. Praise God. And by the way, Dewan, I want to make one more announcement. I want your audience to pray for me as I fight cancer.
Yes, sir.
And by the way, I should have my marijuana drops by Monday. I will officially be a pothead before the election. I'll tell you what it's like.
Hell yeah.
For medicinal purposes,
Yeah,
for
for
real.
medicinal purpose. But in the meantime, you make sure that you stay good, and we'll be there to support you as you beat this. And what I'm going to need y'all to do is make sure y'all donate to Dr. Mandy Short's Cash App, $ Dr. Mandy Short.
Yeah, treat me white.
Yes. Thank you again, Dr. Short. And we'll talk again before the election, all right?
Yes, sir. I'll treat you white.
Thank you again. Have a good
Bye-bye.
one. Huh?